Legendary's monster-based cinematic universe is off to a colossal start. 2014's Godzilla standalone grossed more than $500 million worldwide, and Kong Skull Island looks to exceed even that. The studio is setting up for a Kong vs. Godzilla film in 2020, so here I put composite versions of the characters against one another in all-out brawl. King Kong's lineup is relatively simple. In all of his incarnations, he's a gigantic, super-strong ape with decades of experience fighting hordes of primeval monsters. Most of his abilities, including his strength, agility, combat skills, etc., carry over with each version, but the most obvious difference between versions is size. The smallest Kong, in Peter Jackson's interpretation, was still huge, comparable to Spinosaurus, which are basically buffed-up T-Rexes. But the biggest version, the new Skull Island, is 100 feet tall, and was calculated by the expert at Best UK Casino in this awesome infographic to weigh around 1,400 tons. That's the mass of 7 Bruhathkeosauruses, in the form of a battle-scarred giant. A reasonable composite Kong, then, would stand 62.5 feet tall and weigh 342 tons. That's 1.7 Bruhathkeosauruses. Still pretty big. On top of that monstrous size, composite Kong is highly resistant to damage. His comics incarnations and several movie versions depict him being shot by machine guns at close range and barely noticing. He also possesses superhuman senses, able to track specific people across cities, and can react fast enough to knock helicopters and planes out of the air. Creating a composite for Godzilla is significantly more complicated, since there are so many different versions that are massively different from one another in power and versatility. Here I'm combining movies and comics, resulting in an amalgamation of original, Showa, Heisei, Millennium, Legendary, and IDW comics. I'm leaving out the recent Shin Godzilla, because it's so dramatically altered in origins and abilities. It's more like a weird flesh mutant that happened to look something like Godzilla and so had the name. This composite Godzilla is about 84 meters tall, and scaling from the original, weighs 94,832 tons when applying the square cube law. That's 474 Bruhathkeosauruses. The reason Godzilla weighs so much is because his muscles and armor plates are so dense, and that's what gives him his high physical durability. What are the limits of that durability, you may ask? Well, pretty much every version of Godzilla ever has shrugged off tank shots, bullets, and bombs as a baseline feat, and Heisei's Burning Godzilla, arguably the most durable version of the character, briefly endured enough energy to melt Earth when he absorbed too much radiation. Where's the happy composite median? The version from IDW Comics is a good option. He possesses a healing factor, can absorb radiation beams to make himself more powerful, and has tough armored skin all over his body. After he absorbs enough energy to truly be called Godzilla, he's durable enough to survive the energy output of his battle with Batra, confirmed to surpass 9 teratons of energy, or 10 to the 14th tons of TNT. That's enough power to lay waste to a small country. There is a myth that keeps cropping up about Godzilla's limits, in particular that he's destroyed a universe or is capable of destroying a universe. This did not happen. Supposedly he used his spiral breath attack in IDW Comics to annihilate a dimension. That's just wrong. That particular story does give us the highest canon attack power for the character, but it is nowhere near what many people claim. There are links in the description to the story and calculation in question proving that canon Godzilla is at most large planet busting. Even that's a bit of an outlier, but it's not nearly as bad as Black Panther pinning Silver Surfer or Wolverine moving massively faster than light to stab Thor. Composite Godzilla's attack power seems to lie somewhere between city level and continent level, a wide range but workable. Original and Legendary are at city, Millennium is at mountain, Showa is at island, IDW at small country, and Heisei is at tectonic. Note that these values represent the median for each sub-version as well. This suggests a value similar to his durability, at around small country. Godzilla's speed is all over the place between versions as well, from barely above human to faster than light reactions. Most versions have him reacting at high supersonic speeds, knocking jets out of the air some of the time, so we'll go with that. Over the past few minutes, it should have become increasingly clear that King Kong stands very little chance in a duel to the death against his much bigger, more durable, and faster opponent, with energy weapons that put nukes to shame. However, he has survived before, so he gets a 3% on a technicality. The only way he can hope to actually beat Godzilla is calling for Incaligon the Black.
Created using Powtoon.